Where the cameras are installed in the mirrors is important to achieving the best result from your 360 camera system, and that's because having the best view from the side cameras is as equally as important as the view you also need from the rear camera and the front camera as well. The position and angles the cameras are installed at is something that you should pay very close attention to as well, because they are the only thing that is going to prevent your car from getting damaged from anything that you can't physically see yourself. Aftermarket 360 camera systems have now become incredibly popular because of how amazing they are for the parking and reversing of your car. However, they are generally really expensive to have installed as well, due to the work that is involved. And for this reason, a few people choose to attempt to install a 360 camera system into their car by themselves, despite the work and the risk that can be involved in doing an installation like this. A while ago, I made this video tutorial guide here about how to install a 360 camera system into a car, explaining every step in as much detail as possible, thinking that it might be helpful to DIY installers, and after reading all of the comments I received, it has been helpful, which is good. And even though I did cover most of the important things you need to know about the installation of a 360 camera system in that video, unfortunately I failed to cover everything. And this will always result in being asked a lot of questions, which in this video I'm going to be answering for you. So this is the 5 most common questions I get asked about installing a car 360 camera system, starting with question 1. Should I buy a 360 camera system with 720p cameras or 1080p cameras? While ignoring the difference in cost, which can sometimes only be a few dollars, and providing the 360 camera system you have supports 1080p cameras as well, which they don't all do, then you should most definitely choose the 1080p cameras. But why? Well, first of all, even though a 720p 360 camera system works perfectly for parking and reversing, as you are seeing me demonstrating right now, using my 360 camera system, which also uses 720p cameras as well, it might seem pointless spending more for higher resolution 1080p cameras when you don't need them. But as you will very quickly discover, when the sun goes down and it gets dark, it's not as perfect anymore. Everything that looked so clear to view before is no longer, and that's because a 360 camera system that uses 720p cameras at night can be pretty terrible, to be honest. Sure, you can still see the other cars that are on the road clear enough, but if you need to read road signs, license plates, and anything else like that, it's now a completely different story. Why is this important for parking and reversing though? Well, depending on how dark it actually is, as you can see, high-resolution cameras are extremely important for parking and reversing as well. However, there are many other disadvantages as well. If you're like me and you use your 360 camera system as a dash cam, as demonstrated in this video here, these 720p cameras at night now become an even bigger problem, because as you can see, everything that gets recorded at night is not great quality, to the point that sometimes using your 360 camera system as a dash cam at night is kind of pointless, as if an incident were to happen, this recorded video footage could be absolutely useless to you. Even if you don't use your 360 camera system as a dash cam, this poor nighttime image quality problem being caused by the 720p cameras is still going to affect you. Because when it starts to rain, as you can see, this problem goes from bad to now as worse as it could possibly get. Now everything such as other cars and even the road itself can sometimes be impossible to see. And if I'm honest, even in the daylight, when it starts to rain, these 720p cameras are not that great either, resulting in the overall visibility being worse. So am I saying that in the light of the day, if it's not raining, a 360 camera system with 720p cameras is perfectly fine to use for anything, and you won't experience any problems with it at all? Actually, no. Because if your 360 camera system also supports the 540 transparency view feature as well, like this, that results in even more problems, because the truth is 720p cameras don't work well with this feature. And I don't just mean at night when it's dark, because this feature can still work quite well at night if I'm honest, but more so in the daylight, because depending on how bright the light of the day is, this can drastically affect the quality of this 540 transparency view, sometimes making it frustrating to use because the cameras are just not good enough to produce a perfect quality transparency image on screen. And for all of the other reasons you have just seen, I would only recommend using 1080p cameras if supported by your system, of course. Preferably using 1080p WDR cameras would be the ultimate choice to use. However, because at the time of this video they are still the latest technology, they are also considerably more expensive as well. Question 2. Do you have to disassemble the side mirrors to be able to install the side view cameras? To do the job professionally and with as less risk as possible of damaging the internals of the side mirrors of your car, including the glass lenses as well, then yes, I would highly recommend it. First of all, there are many different types of car mirrors, so The design of them all are also very different. Therefore, how you install your cameras into your side mirrors may be different to how I installed mine. Of course, I have not installed a 360 camera system to every type of car, but I can 100% confirm that if you're trying to install the cameras into the side mirrors on a car like this, being an Alfa Romeo Giulietta, it will be impossible to install the cameras without removing the glass lens and the entire mirror from the door of the car as well. Drilling a huge hole into the base of the mirror on this car, including many other cars as well, without removing the glass lens first is honestly a stupid thing to try, as it is impossible to see what is behind the glass lens. These mirrors are not only electric, they also have blind spot lamps, temperature sensors, and of course wires inside them. Yes, removing the glass can be very risky, but drilling a large hole in the bottom of the mirror when you can't see what is behind the glass first is a much higher risk. Not only will the glass lens most likely break anyway, but the damage that will be done to everything else behind it is definitely going to ruin your day, so I don't recommend trying it. And all that being said, how you choose to install your cameras into your mirrors is entirely up to you, and the risk and responsibility is all yours as well. As stated in the installation video, if you're not confident doing this type of job, don't do it. Once again, I would only recommend this job to be done by a professional installer that is happy to take the responsibility for any damage when and if it happens. Question 3. How do I mount the cameras at the correct angles? With the front and rear cameras, this is generally not ever a problem when the cameras are mounted horizontally and flat, and this is because the brackets that the front and rear cameras are supplied with should install the cameras to the correct angle automatically for you. When you screw the bracket to the camera is then permanently fixed at the angle required and cannot be moved or adjusted at all, which is exactly what you want, as if the camera was to move, this would also throw out the calibration. With most aftermarket 360 camera systems, this required angle is approximately 45 degrees. However, with some 360 camera systems, this angle can be different as well, requiring the cameras to be mounted at a larger angle. Unless stated in the installation manual of your particular system, sticking to an angle of 45 degrees will be fine, and preferably keeping both the front and rear cameras mounted at the same angle as well, or close enough to it. As for the side cameras, again because the side cameras are also supplied with specially designed angled grommets like this, the angle is once again automatically set for both the left and right sides for you, when installed correctly of course. If your mirrors are slightly angled, the cameras are also supplied with grommets that are not angled at all, so you will need to take this into consideration when installing the cameras. As for the angle, where you install the camera in the mirrors generally needs to be a flat based area as well, so once again you can just let the angled grommets set the cameras to the correct angles for you. With certain 360 camera systems, they may also ask you to tilt the camera slightly to the rear of the car as well. If your system does ask you for this, don't worry, this angle, which may be around only 10 degrees, can be achieved using the supplied angled grommets. This angle is generally not always mandatory though. Of course, once all 4 cameras have been installed, if any of the angles are incorrect to the point where it's going to be a problem resulting in the 360 camera system not performing or calibrating correctly, these incorrect angles will easily be noticeable on screen in the calibration setup area. Question 4. What are the wires for on the cameras and where do I connect them to? This question can either refer to this red wire here on the side and rear cameras, which is the trigger wire, which depending on your system and setup, you may need to connect this wire to the reverse light wire of your car for the rear camera, so that once you engage reverse gear, your 360 camera system will then automatically open and display your rear camera view on screen. Or with a side camera, you may need to connect this wire to the turn signal light wire of your car. So when you engage and turn on the turn signals, your 360 camera system will then automatically display that particular side camera view on screen for you. However, this question can also refer to these wires here. Not all 360 cameras will have these wires on them, but when they do, they are either 2 individual looking wires like this, or 2 loop wires like this. Starting with the white loop wire, this is used to control the camera's displayed viewing angle. When cutting the loop or joining the 2 individual wires together, this mirrors the camera view for you horizontally. By mirroring the camera view horizontally, this allows the camera to be viewed and displayed differently on screen. Usually with a 360 camera system you won't need to touch these wires at all, but if you do, joining them together or cutting the loop is all that is required. Do not put these wires to power, as it can damage the camera. Generally these wires or loop will be white in colour, but be very careful because some camera manufacturers change this. It's also very important to remember that mirroring the view can be done through the settings of the app as well, resulting in this wire possibly not needing to be used. However, please note that using this feature actually mirrors both the rear and front camera views, not just the rear camera view by itself. Then we have the green loop wire. This is used to control the parking guidelines. When cutting the loop or joining the two individual wires together, this will enable or disable the parking guidelines overlay feature. The green wire is very common to find on reverse cameras, so when reverse gear is engaged, you can also have the parking guidelines displayed on screen as well. Again, with a 360 camera system, this green wire, if you have it, may be cut by default, and if it is, you can just leave it alone. And that is because the parking guidelines feature can also generally be enabled and disabled through the 360 app settings as well. So that is what all the wires are used for. But I want to make it very clear, do not connect any of these wires to anything before testing out the 360 camera system first, as all depending on your setup, none of these wires may require to be connected at all. Only when certain features don't work should you then think about touching any of these wires. Question 5. What is the correct place to install the side cameras in the mirrors? The best and correct place to install the side cameras is in the bottom of the center of the mirrors. Why? Well, first of all, because the camera should be mounted on a flat surface, the center of the mirror is usually the flattest part as well. However, even more importantly than that is the center of the mirror is also where it provides the best view of coverage for the camera as well, being not only able to see the ground clearly but also the footpath and curb as well, including the side of the car itself, and all of these areas are extremely important. Some installers will mount the cameras back this way a little bit, and depending on the type of car it is being installed onto, this can also be acceptable, but do be cautious when trying this. Places I don't recommend mounting the cameras are here, right up close against the car, and yes, I know a lot of people do this, generally due to it being an easier installation spot on some cars, but I don't really recommend it, and I'll show you why. So mounting the camera here on my car would be a really bad idea, and that's because of the convex shape of the door. Look how much the shape of the door sticks out on my car from this angle, and now let's compare that to if the camera was mounted right up against the car here as well. The shape of the door is hiding so much of this important ground view area from the camera's view. Mounting the camera closer to the side of the car would result in me not being able to see this curb clearly enough when pulling over to the side of the road, and that is exactly what you want a 360 camera system to very clearly see for you. Of course, on some cars, which are more flat-sided, you can get away with this problem a bit easier, but I still don't recommend mounting a camera in this location. And in my opinion, it's also a place where the camera is not going to look very nice mounted either. So what about in this position of the mirror here then? Again, no. Why? Well, not only does mounting a camera on the outer edge of a mirror definitely look even worse, again in my personal opinion, but it's also the area of the mirror that is the most susceptible to getting hit and damaged as well. It's not uncommon to see lots of scrapes and scratches on this area of a car's mirror from it getting hit by things such as walls. It's also directly in the way of where the mirror glass lens needs to turn as well. And because the further out the camera is placed, the less side coverage of the door can be seen and therefore protected as well. Of course, all car mirrors are different, but irrespective of that and the work involved to install the cameras, which will never be easy, the best position is still in the center of the bottom of the mirror, or slightly back a bit, but only if needed. And that is 5 of the most common questions I have been asked about the installation of a car 360 camera system. Of course, there are a lot more questions than that, but I have already answered all of those in the installation video, which you can find on the channel here. This video was designed to be an installation tutorial guide, whereas the video you're watching now is just a follow-up to the installation video in general, to cover anything that I had missed. So if you're doing an installation, then I would recommend watching that video first. And that now brings us to the end of another video. Don't forget to check out the 360 camera playlist here on the channel, where you will find even more videos related to everything about 360 camera systems. If you like this video, please hit the like button, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more car tech content just like this, and I hope to see you all in the next video.